My roommate killed 24 people over the past 2 years. I should have fucking known. He took trips up to his camp almost every weekend, even over the past few months, and if you ask anyone from CNY, they'll tell you how cold it is. I suppose looking back on it now, one night should have pointed to who my roommate, let's call him Jim, really was. It was early September. I just graduated from high school last June, so I was excited as hell to start college. I decided to live on campus, and on September 4th, that's when I met Jim. Jim was, is, 22. He hasn't attended college until now. He lived off the Fatah, his land, his wheat crop up north, for a few years. Jim seemed like a cool guy. He and I both loved going to the gym. He is an absolute monster in the weight room. He looks like your average pseudo power lifter, built like a brick shit house. But Jim was always a very quiet and sweet guy. I can't be around weed smoke, medicine interaction, so when he would smoke he would risk his own ass and smoke out in the back of the dorm. Now throughout the whole first semester, Jim was still a great guy, but grew some new negative qualities. I'm not saying he became a bad person, but was adapting. After he and I went to our first few college parties, he had strung together a group of 4 girlfriends, and none of them knew about each other. He was such a good liar. And not just very convincing, but if I hadn't seen all the girls with my own eyes, I would have believed that the girl of the night was his one and only. Then came Halloween. I came back to my dorm room at 11:30 after being at another friend's costume party to find Jim crying in bed. It was weird, he never showed this much emotion before. So I obviously asked him what was wrong, and he told me that one of the girls, Jessica, was just found with no hands or feet inside a popular cornfield. I felt horrible. I decided I was going to try to make him feel better, so I ran into our bathroom to wash my face quick. But when I got in there, I could have sworn I saw Jim grinning ear to ear. Over privacy, I will only tell you about this one girl. The press release that was let out was horrific. Poor Jessica had been found with her hands/feet cut off with what looked like a serrated saw. They also found corn husks shoved down her throat. Some pretty sick shit. Jim was never the same after Jessica died. He started to completely skip his classes, drank heavily, spent insane amounts of time at the gym, and went up to his camp in the Adirondacks almost every weekend. This was also around the same time that the disappearances started to happen. It started with a young professor's aide. She had been walking her dog in her neighborhood not too far from campus when she went missing. They found her dog hanging by her leash on the aide's door. Then 3 women that were bar hopping in downtown Syracuse disappeared. They found one of the woman's lip ring in the parking lot of the bar they were last seen. Then came possibly the most disturbing one. A pregnant woman was attacked and kidnapped from her own apartment in Pulaski. The only thing left at the scene was a handwritten note saying, "I'm your baby's daddy now." A silent manhunt was on in my area. The biggest connection I should have made was after I told Jim that a group of 25 people said that they would search every inch of upstate New York to find the pregnant woman. Jim began to be very paranoid and jumpy. But his nice demeanor began to fade. He was just so angry all the time. Things came together about a week and a half ago. It was Friday night and Jim hadn't left yet, which was weird. Turns out that he was so blazed out of his mind that he had forgotten to leave. When he did go, I felt bad for letting him leave, but now I'm glad I did. The next morning, a woman was found dead, face down, near a gas station. There was blood everywhere. The woman had her tongue ripped out of her throat. But there was a silver lining. The idiot who did this left bloody footprints that led to a gas station bathroom, and guess who was in it? Jim has been in custody for about 5 days. He admitted to nearly every single murder he had committed, his first having been on his 20th birthday. Police raided his camp upstate and found a real-life horror house. Women's bodies were nailed to the wall as trophies. He even turned 2 of them into fucking sex dolls. The sick fuck even bought a crib for. Well, you know. Now how do I know all this? The police have only told immediate family what has happened. But luckily I know a few officers. Plus they felt obligated to show me something. Jim had been keeping a journal at his camp, mostly describing all of his murders. But one entry, from Halloween, 2014 stood out. This is what it read. Jessica found my kid in my trunk. It's a shame, I had a great spot for her. Made sure that nobody knew that she was going out with me. When police found her I feigned tears for Dom. He's a great guy, easy to manipulate. But I'm still counting the days until he finally gets a girlfriend. I have never before been so happy to be single.